Exactly 6 months after the last race in 2025, it was finally time to start the new season. I've been looking forward to the beginning of this new season for a very long time, and even longer than those 6 months that I've had to wait during the winter until I could ride the bike again. On Friday we had the possibility to go for 5 free practice sessions, and on Saturday we had 2 qualifyings and 1 race. The weather forecast for Friday wasn't really that good. We had a lot of clouds and it was quite windy, as well as low temperatures for the asphalt on the track. Luckily for the Saturday, the weather was supposed to be a lot better, less wind, more sun, less clouds, and overall higher temperatures. For the 5 free practice sessions on the Friday, it was just my plan to build up further from the feeling that we had in Spain, to build up more confidence, get more laps in, and to overall get a better feeling on the bike. After the practice sessions, it was finally time for the qualifying and the races. On Saturday morning I had the first qualifying, and although it was still a little cold in the morning, I was able to go out with a fresh set of tires and get a good feeling. I was lucky to have the track almost entirely to myself. At least I didn't have a lot of traffic in the way, and I was able to just go for my own laps, get into my own rhythm, and I ended the qualifying in 4th with a new personal best. And even though I wasn't really focusing on setting a good fast lap time, after all I was quite happy with the first qualifying. The second qualifying was later in the day, and because of that I was thinking to myself that the temperatures would most likely be higher. So I waited around, and for the first qualifying I just focused on setting a good banker lap to be able to improve later on in the second qualifying. For us, the first and the second qualifying is combined, so the overall best lap is used for determining your place on the starting grid. I chose to go out of the pit box as one of the first riders, and because of that I was able to do a practice start. In the second qualifying I had a little more traffic, so I had to overtake a couple more riders than I had to in the first qualifying, and because of that I was getting into a slightly worse rhythm, but even then the feeling was still good, so I was still able to improve my lap time with just a little. But I did expect a little more from the second qualifying, also because the temperatures were higher and the other riders that could improve a little. I was going to push for my final lap. Just before the timer of the session ran out, I was overtaken by a faster rider, and I wanted to go after him and see if I could improve for my final lap. However, he crashed in the third corner, and because of that I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm not risking it anymore, and I'll just finish the session, and 4th is a good place for the starting grid. I used that time to go over the first and second qualifying, go over my practice start to just see if there's some tiny mistakes that I was able to easily fix, and to hopefully have a better pace in the race. I also finally had time to show my new bike to my guests. I showed them the differences compared to last year. I have a lot more buttons now, and there's more electronics on the bike, and I was showcasing them what the different buttons do, although with some buttons I still don't have any clue. It really helped to kill a little time for the race, and I was really happy to show them and give them more insights about what I do exactly. When I changed into my racing suit again before the race, the nerves just started kicking in. It was hard for me to keep focused because I was just so eager and so excited to start the season. I was really relieved when the team finally signed to go out of the box and when I was finally able to mount the bike and roll out of the pit box. A little nervousness already went away, and rolling up to the start, I was getting into the rhythm and finally getting into my focus. I turned on the launch control and I started to prepare myself for the start. I was really surprised by my start. I've never done a start on the Superbike along with someone, so for me, I finally realized that I had a lot of power, and I overtook 2 riders in that instant. However, on the first straight in the first lap, I had to give 1 position away again, but I did my best to stay in his wheel. After the first lap, I was still just behind the second rider, but eventually I had to give in a little and a small gap was created. During the rest of the laps, that gap wasn't really shrinking again, and eventually I had to drop myself a little. I also saw on the pit board that the gap behind me was already closing in on 3.5 seconds, so I made the call to just go for the safe option and to not try and shrink the gap to the front because it was already quite big. From that point onwards, I was just focusing on my reference points and to focus on fixing the mistakes I still made in the qualifying sessions, and to just ride my own race and control the gap to the riders behind. Eventually, I rode quite a lonely race apart from the first 2 laps, but after all, I was completely satisfied, and it was beyond my expectations to finish on the podium in my first race. Looking back on this weekend, I am really satisfied, and I'm really happy that I was able to just continue the momentum that I already had in Spain, and that I didn't waste any riding time. I'm really happy with how the team and I put together an amazing package for the races, and I'm curious to see how I can improve even more for the next race on the 25th of April. A lot of clouds. Goed.
Ja.
Klaar. Finito. Strategically. Zal ik dat woord maar even skippen? For us, the first and the second qualifying.
Maar dit was echt degene die ik goed ging doen, hè? I showed them the difference. I showed them the difference. Klaar. It's a tortilla.